Welcome to Not So 40 Facts about the 40k universe. This time, we're talking about Delvarus. So, let's begin. Now, Delvarus was a centurion of the World Eaters. Later on, in life, he became the war chief of the Riven and joined the Black Legion. But we'll get there later. You see, this guy was born on Novus Principa. And excuse my pronunciation, but that's a jungle world and I don't really care that much for it. Now, you see, the World Eaters had these fighting pits where they like to fight each other, to punch each other in the face and other stuff. Now, this guy was undefeated in that pit. Funnily enough, when he was paired with Sigismund of the Imperial Fist that you may all know, they took down every opponent they came across in like a minute or two. Let's move forward a bit. During the Gehenna massacre, Delvarus was the only member of his squad that survived. Yes, that includes his captain. And since he was such a good fighter, he was promoted to command the 44th Company, the Triari, which are boarding specialists. The boarding specialists of the World Eaters. Now, you see, there might be a little bit of a problem when your whole clan bases itself on fighting and you have some guys in orbit just waiting to board a ship. And for that reason, Delvarus was fond of planetary assaults. Despite his job supposedly being to stay on a ship. And one time he did that, and he got shot and quarantined by a chick named Lotara Sarin, which is a kind of an important character in World Eaters lore. Well, for Angron and Kron, maybe. Yeah, about that. So the chick quarantined him to his own quarters. After that, he got out of quarantine. Lucky him, I guess. Not lucky us. And he was sentenced to fight 26 blood duels. Normally, the punishment would be like 8 or 6. 6 or 8, around that. Now, this guy had to do 26. And you know what, seeing as he had the habit of just beating off and joining planetary assaults rather than doing his job. Yeah. I can get that. Now, this guy lost his due to the apothecary of the World Eaters, Cargos. And rather than executing him, Cargos let him live, which of course greatly humiliated Delvarus here. Problem is, Cargos was an apothecary, and you might think an apothecary is kind of weak, like a doctor. You're like, oh, he spent so much time in there, and there he has pretty hands, and he can't fight. Well, these are space marines, so yeah, that happens. Now, you see, the World Eaters had a tradition, and their tradition was to be bald. Bald, I'm talking about it. But Delvarus here wasn't really fond of that tradition, and since he cared something for his old roots, he preferred to have his hair long. Even though most people went bald because you could imagine it gets annoying having long hair under a helmet. Presumably so. Funny tidbit, his hair and skin were black. I don't know if that was important. That was said on the wiki. I had to see it too. I think that's what OneMindSyndicate said as well. Going with that. Now, besides a black hair and skin, he also had iron teeth. Just like my grandpappy. And also he wielded a meteor hammer. You could imagine he's kind of tough for that. Like, a meteor hammer is kind of a heavy weapon. And it's a hammer. You go into war with a hammer, that's pretty cool. There's like the Scottish guy that went to fight in the Second World War with a longsword and a bow and arrow. Respectable. Now, you see, if you started counting, we got to 14 points. Technically. Now, imagine that from 14 to 34, I just talk slowly and elongate the words that I say. boringly so while reading from the wiki page slowly. And that's how I make the video longer. Now let's go to the other points about Delvarus. You see, when I told you he became a Riven, the war chief of the Riven? Now, the Riven is a band of Secondborn. And in case you don't know, the Secondborn are basically possessed. They're possessed. That's about it. I don't know why they chose to name it Secondborn. Maybe for copyright reasons, but that's what happens. They're Space Marines that get possessed by demons. But funny thing, as all Space Marines that get possessed by demons, is the demon that makes the choices. Most of the time. You see, sometimes later, after becoming the War Chief of the Riven, Delvarus gets control of his body back. Nice. And he decides to join Abaddon in the Black Legion. Now, Abaddon made him the guard of his ship, of Horus's old ship, the Vengeful Spirit. Now, I'm not sure if Abaddon decided to do that to spite him, or he did it because he really thought he was good at that job of protecting ships and being on a ship. Though you would imagine for a World Eater that would be kind of insulting. I'm not sure what's worse, Cargos sparing him or just being out of action. Anyway, after becoming a Secondborn and before getting his control back, Delvarus suffered another tragedy in his life, because his life seems kind of full of those. Now, you see, when he became this demon thingy, he lost his eyesight. Because of something called the Black Cataract, I guess. And it's like some sort of demon mutation disease. And, well, as it usually happens in most media, his other senses got enhanced. Because of course that's how it works. What, were you expecting something else? Now, in his possessed form, he had wings and a crown of thorns on his head. That was like his war form or something. Now you might be wondering, okay, sounds pretty cool. We got to like 39. What's the 40th fact? What is it? Where is he now? What is he doing? Nothing, because he's dead. Yep. Since he joined the Black Legion, he was part of the first Black Crusade and the first battle for Cadia. And that's where he met his doom. By the hands of a Death Guard sorcerer. Surprisingly, I know. Well, what can I say, Delvarus? Tough luck? Better luck next time?